My name's Jason Konovich, Automation Services Specialist here on our Industrial Automation team at Schaedler Yesco. I also manage not only our service offerings that I just spoke about, but also some of the Schaedler training that we offer. That's going to revolve around the FEMS offering that we're going to speak about here, as well as PowerFlex 525 drive training and industrial Ethernet training. Got to see a show of hands here. Who has participated in our FEMS training before? Is everybody new to this? Nobody's ever sat into any of the FEMS training? Okay. Do I have some plant managers and maintenance managers in here this morning? Okay, wonderful. I appreciate everyone coming again. We'll keep this short and sweet. So these are 3 flyers I have up on here. This is an overview of those 3 different offerings I just mentioned a few seconds ago. These are available on our Schaedler website. We run these, the FEMS offering, we run this once a year in February. So it goes from about February to the middle of March. And then we have this 525 training offering and this industrial Ethernet training that we run approximately 2 to 3 times per year. So all 3 of these are offered at our Harrisburg location and or our York location. So I don't know if I have anybody from the northern tier or up in the Northeast. Okay. We do have the availability to run those classes if we can get a number of students to participate in that. We can certainly run that for you. So one of these things I like to start out with is this slide called Disruptions in a Changing World. I know just from a personal and professional standpoint, we're experiencing a lot of these disruptions in our lives, all right? And one of those biggest ones is since COVID, we've experienced a great resignation. A lot of guys with 30, 40, 50 years of experience on the plant floor, retiring and taking a lot of that tribal knowledge away, right? We also have to deal with the skills gap and labor shortage of having new employees come in who have no idea about the equipment that you currently have installed on your plant floor, as well as understanding what the life cycle status is of some of that equipment. Another thing is outside contractors. I mentioned this one earlier in my previous one. Do you have outside contractors who come in who are not familiar with what's installed on your plant floor and in your storeroom currently? And then, of course, machine safety is a big one, right? Having new people come in who don't understand what the machine makeup is of your plant floor. And of course, we're dealing with supply chain, product shortages, that obsolescence that I just mentioned, and the accessibility of those spare parts. And then I have a number of other ones here that are considered disruptors, and I think you guys would agree. Everybody experiencing these on their plant floor? You see a lot of this, right? I know as far as supply chain comes, we're starting to get out of that. I think things are starting to look much brighter for all of us. So that brings up the question, what are you doing about these challenges and opportunities right now? Show of hands, are you guys experiencing any issues with hiring new people, keeping new people on board? Right? I see it a lot. Folks coming in who understand Rockwell automation, but they understand the control compact logics aspect of it, and not your Slick 500s or your micrologic controllers and things like that, right? So that brings up that skills gap. Even that safety issue comes into play there. So we're going to jump ahead into this FEMS. This is what's called the Fundamental Electrical Maintenance Skills class. This class is made up of about 9 levels, and those 9 levels are all the way up until panel wiring. We'll talk about some of those levels here in a couple of seconds. And then with the addition of the 525 training, and as well as the industrial Ethernet training. So who should attend this type of training, right? Guys who are involved in installation, guys who are involved in maintenance, guys who are involved with troubleshooting, controls guys. You have controls technicians that work on a lot of this type of equipment. And are there any prerequisites involved? This is really a fundamentally based training class for guys who have 0 to no experience. And as I mentioned, we offer 9 individual learning levels for this. And at the completion of this entire curriculum, you should have the experience with the following over here on the right-hand side, folks. So understanding theory, general electrical safety, reading NEMA ladder diagrams, understanding what open, overload, and short circuit conditions and electrical currents are, performing voltage, multimeter readings, physically wiring a relay, logic control circuit. And this one got caught off at the bottom here, fundamentals of electrical circuit. So really the cool thing is it's a little bit of book knowledge, there's a little bit of paperwork involved in those first few sections, and then level 9 is what we call a 2-day panel wiring, where you guys are actually going to see a panel with sensors and motors and connecting this all up to make sure that this all runs properly. So it's a really cool 8-hour class. The following day, it's more of the instructor coming in, throwing bugs into the panel, helping you troubleshoot and maintain those items. So it's a real cool offering at a real cheap price. I think it's about $350 per module. It's a 4-hour module. And then with the panel wiring, what I just mentioned, that's a 2-day, 8-hour class that probably comes in around $1,400 for the 2 days. Anybody have any questions so far? You guys are a quiet crowd. Yeah. I'm sorry. So it's offered at our Schaedler Harrisburg location, our corporate location. And then we can offer it in Schaedler, York, which is 850 Smile Way, which is, any of you have been down to our warehouse in York, we have a training center located there as well. Like I said, we will do it in the Northeast. We possibly could do it in the North Central section out of our Du Bois office, potentially. We just have to be able to round up a bunch of interest, and that's one of, go ahead, I'm sorry. Does that answer your question? Okay. Well, generally try to find about 6 or more. When it comes to the panel wiring, we have about 6 student trainers available for the panel wiring, and we can do 2-to-1 student workstation ratio, training module ratio. So we try to do 6 to make it manageable. Our Pittston facility will probably host 12, maybe 15 folks. Both York and Harrisburg can obviously host up to about 25 folks. So the cool thing about this is we can take on 20 or 25 people in those first 8 modules. But when it comes to the panel wiring, we only have 6 trainers. So we'll only be able to accommodate 12 students for that. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. So this is kind of a slide I put together to help you guys understand the fundamental automation learning path. So we had just talked about what the FEMS offering looks like. And then we want to kind of slide into that PowerFlex 525 essential drive training with operating with a 525 drive in the CCW Components Workbench program. Has anybody participated in our 525 outside of our FEMS? No. And then lastly, we're offering the Industrial Ethernet Fundamental Training. That is actually working with a 525 PowerFlex drive, Stratix 5200 switch, and a control logic switch. And it usually comprises about 3 labs. And each of those classes, the PowerFlex and the Industrial Ethernet class, are both 1 8-hour class. Both hosted at Harrisburg and York. But we will look to do the North. Actually, we do host in the Northeast. We usually get some good attendance for that 525 drive training class. And then the last slide I have, do you have a question, sir? I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. What does the ether ascertain? So yeah, so that's the cool thing. It's putting together that 525, that you're going to be running the 525 together with the 5200 Stratix switch and the control logic, having those 3 communicate with each other. Using, I think you even get to use RS Logic at one point, Studio 5K, and I'm forgetting the last one, I apologize. It just disappeared out of my head. So yes, you would be working with those 3 software programs. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. Yep. Are there any other questions? Okay. So that's really all I got on this FEMS offering here today. But I did want to make one mention here. We do do offer the OSHA NFPA 70E training, arc flash training at our facilities. We offer that twice a year. We can also come on site. So if you guys have a large group that has to complete their certifications or recertifications for 2024 or moving forward, we can certainly accommodate you guys in a private setting as well.